Hi, this is Ron Janish, and we're going to go over the three things that were mentioned, and we're going to do that after we do what I'll call an executive summary, which will go over a lot of things really quickly. Okay, so we'll go over all the detail in a moment. All right, well let's take a quick peek here. Where do we go? Right there. Okay. Um, in using Andrew's lines, one of the things you want to look for is whether or not prices make the median line. And so you take your 3 points and you see whether or not prices have made the median line. Obviously, when there's a huge difference between the median line and the parallel, then there's a really good chance they're going to make up for it the other way by going so much past the next median line. We'll see that in a moment. So they're going to make up this distance here on the other side. All right. Now let's watch this. This is really kind of fun. We take the low here, the high here, and the low here. Oh. And as we can clearly see here, prices went up to the median line, pulled back a little bit, and then shot up to the upper parallel where they halted and reversed. Okay, not overly difficult. Okay, sometimes you just need a little bit of help in knowing which pivots to draw it from. So what you can do is you can press the buttons on the side here when you use Precision Trader, and it'll label the pivots for you. And one of the pivots you want to watch for is number 2, because here's the situation. When you're going down here and prices bounce off the parallel exactly, notice they do it a couple of times. Okay, and it's really easy to get some false starts. That's why you want to wait for a 2. And a 2 very often will come right near a warning line, and that's what this is here, a warning line. Okay, now as prices go up, they don't always go up perfectly within the median line, but instead what they'll do is they'll go outside of it a little bit, like right here where this 2 is, and then they'll test that once more over here really quickly and then keep going on. Okay, and then what happens is prices get, if they get past the median line, which they normally would, considering there's this huge space between down here, this median line, and the parallel where they got to, they'll make up for it on the other side. And as you can see, they nicely made up for it by going up here, and sure enough, that's where prices reversed. So you draw your next median line over here as prices go down, and once again prices do not make it to the median line but reverse here. And to help you along, if these are smaller pivots, since this one here is a much smaller median line, just here you go, here's a 2. Okay, and you would have drawn your warning lines, and here's your 2. So this is a place to watch for an entry point. Okay, and as prices go up, they go up to the parallel. We'll take a look at that in a second. And as I fumble around at this stuff here, there we go. Let's clear the screen. Okay. And as you can can see here, had you drawn a sliding parallel to this one here, you would have really gotten that knocked, which it normally does. And then it goes in again and up again. And this time when it went up, it did not, once again, make it to the median line. Okay. It, once again, reversed at the upper parallel. Now, those of you that are course members, if you were a course member at this time, you may recall that I sent you out a chart in this time frame up here. It was an intraday chart, and if you look back intraday, you'll see an EZ3 pattern, right? And the EZ3 pattern will give you an absolutely stupendous entry signal to go short and take the ride down. And notice that you have your pullback over here. Okay, nice pullback to the warning line, right? And here, once again, you have some support and resistance type activity right near the warning line. This is fairly common. Okay, now we're going to go over this whole thing again. Let's just take a look here. Oh, there's your 2. Okay. And okay. So let's start all over again and go through everything from the beginning. Here we go. Case study of Andrews lines in Apple stock. Okay, so what we have is we have this thing called the median line, right? The red line here, and we have the MLH, the far MLH, and the nearby MLH. And it's nearby because it's closer to the prices than this one here. This one's kind of far, right? It's past the ML. And we clearly see that prices, as they went down, they did not make it to the median line. They reversed in the area of the MLH, right? And then up she went. And what we know is that when prices do not make it to the median line, which, by the way, they normally do not make it to the median line in about 20% of the cases, that is something to be anticipated. One of the things you can watch for is watch for prices to not watch for prices that when they do not make it to the median line, they wind up making up for it. And if they reverse here, a good thing to use for your action reaction lines is simply your warning lines. Okay, take a look. Okay, so here was your SH. Remember we talked about the SH line? SH is a sliding parallel because when you draw your median line as it's going in the thrust direction, this was the correction direction, and that's because prices were going up, 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 up here, and then went sideways for a while, and then now thrust some more. Thrust direction or advancement direction, they have a tendency at times to hang out outside the H line, and they'll do that once, and you can draw a sliding parallel, and then there'll be another opportunity, and it'll be right around here, because what they'll do is they will go below it, maybe even close below that line, and then very often continue in their rise. And if you notice in this case here, they went right up to the far parallel where they reversed. And as Andrew said, prices have a tendency to reverse at the median line, at the parallel lines, or extensions of them. That is where you will find many of your reversals. Okay, so here we have thrust to the MLH, as you can see, and a thrust to the MLH is very, very normal in situations where you're in a thrust pattern and you did not make it to the median line in the correction pattern. Okay, so let's take a look here. What do we have here now? We have here it made the high, and then it came down. Okay. And as it came down, once again, it reversed at the MLH, never making it to the median line. And so you're looking for a good move to the upside here. Now, if you're a course member, take a look at your NN concepts and you'll understand why they are not likely to go to the far parallel. Okay. So we see here that prices, as they went up nicely and eventually reversed at the nearby MLH. Now, when prices reverse at a nearby MLH, prices will typically go the other way substantially, going past the next median line to the far H. There is the exception, and that's what I just mentioned when you have one of these NN situations. And if you go through your material and take a look at this particular pattern in here, you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, so as I mentioned, that prices were likely to come down and go to the far parallel, and sure enough they did. All right. Now, there are some other concepts with this, and those are the concepts of finding the entry points. Okay, so where did you find some additional entry points in here if you were simply drawing Andrews lines? Well, the answer is simply using the warning lines to determine approximately where your support and resistance points would come in. And notice here all the warning lines are drawn, and notice this kind of looks like the profit ladder, right? And you can use the warning lines in this kind of situation for your profit ladder, provided that you have prices reversing at the H line here. Okay, and notice you have the same thing here, and so this results in you having a pretty interesting idea as to where your reversals are likely to occur, and you know that these are just going to be short-term reversals because they still have to go to a longer-term reversal point. Okay, and here we go. Here's a nice one that you can see very clearly. Right, prices went right in this area here, and that was your downturn, right? And so this gives you a nice entry point. Now, in this area up here, if you're a course member, you have an advantage once again, because if you look at your EZ3 pattern, you could have used that to get in right near the high, within a few ticks of the high, which is really kind of neat. This doesn't happen every day. So when you see a pattern like this, be sure you go to your lower levels in terms of time and see if there's an easy pattern in there, because they can give you a very tight entry to substantially decrease your risk and get you in at a really nice point. Okay, so you can see here, okay, if you didn't go short up here, you had another very nice opportunity over here at the warning line. Same with this here. Here's your warning line. This way you don't get caught in the middle of these situations here where they're just kind of bouncing around off a line. Right? And then you get whipsawed all the time. That's really painful. Okay. Okay, now those are the first two things. Now what was the third thing? Well, the third thing was that when you use the software, if you simply, to help you find entry points, you can draw the warning lines, okay? And the other thing you can use are the twos. So after they come over here, let's say, now sure you could have gotten long here and stuff, and I'm saying conservatively, had you just kind of watched it, prices come back down, pull back, then on they go some more, right? And here's a 2, and this 2 would come after this one here. Since this is a smaller move here, I might look for one of these guys. Okay. Once again, once they go past the warning line, that's a warning that this uptrend is more than likely over. All right, so it's down she goes. Click on here, and you can see the 2 in here. And then down we go some more. Okay, so those are the 3 things, and those of you that have not taken the course, what we will offer you is, if you watch this video here, you can get a discount when you take the course equal to the amount that you paid. Simply send me an email. I'll gladly provide that. Just send me an email. Hey, I took your video, want to move on with the course. Just send me that, and I will send you a special link for a special invoice that will give you the discount for viewing this video. All right. So I thank you for your time, and if you haven't taken the course, hey, come check us out over at andrewscourse.com. Okay. Thank you for your time. Bye.